Okay, so welcome to Dr. Kyre. Dr. Kyre is one of our money cartography students that finished money cartography probably a couple of months ago, I think,
Right, yeah.
here. And she's very kindly agreed to share her experience with you all. So if you are thinking about jumping into money cartography, then it often helps to hear somebody's experience who's actually been through it, and then that can kind of help you make your intuitive decision as well. So first of all, welcome, Kyre. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I was just
Okay.
saying before we started recording, it's so lovely to see you in person and to connect with you in person. It's always a thrill to really connect with my students, even though you went through the course in a kind of on-demand way. So can you tell us a little bit about you, about what you do, and about your journey with human design?
Absolutely. By profession, I am an architect, or I used to be an architect. For the last 25 years, I have been doing human programming with a technique called Geotran.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually my Geotran instructor 20 years ago had a human design session, and she said, "You need to try this out."
20
Now,
years
I am,
ago.
yeah, so that was, yeah, 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I was fascinated even then because I really like technique-driven stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so to be able to go into the big picture and the detail, and the big picture and the detail, that just really suits my personality, and it's what I do with my clients now. I'm also a trained coach, and going more and more in the direction of focusing on human design as a coaching tool,
Mm-hmm.
not only for my own clients, but training other coaches to use at least the basics
Mm-hmm.
of human design
Mm-hmm.
to open up the field for their clients so that, for instance, they can work with the money cartography issues, the abundance issues with
Mm-hmm.
their clients, but also just so that they can look at a chart and say, oh, okay, so this person is a projector. Well, then I'm going to approach them differently. I'm going to engage them differently
Mm-hmm.
than if they were a generator like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Just even on that very basic level,
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is going to be super, super helpful. Plus, that I have some other techniques that work
Mm-hmm.
along with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with clients, and I especially like working with coaches because
Wonderful.
then I know the impact is going to spread out through
Yes,
their clients, and I get to help a larger group of people.
exactly. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's where we're very similar, I think,
Yeah.
in that kind of I love that. So thank you for that. Can you tell us or share how you found money cartography? Because I don't think we were in each other's world before that, to my knowledge.
No, and I was thinking about that because I'm trying to remember where I came across this, and I think it must have been on Facebook,
Right.
you know, because I'm always interested in what people are doing in human design,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, now there's an interesting thought because was already starting to put together a course
Mm-hmm.
on abundance.
Right.
At different levels, and we're going to start with dealing with the genetic line contaminations and subconscious beliefs and all that lovely stuff,
Mhm.
and then build on top of that. I
Mm.
have a lot of different techniques for activating the abundance that is there innately in your system.
Yeah.
Now, to then find that there was somebody who was specifically addressing abundance using the human design circuitry, it's like
Mhm.
ding, 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 ding. You know?
Yeah.
So, despite the fact that I really did not have a couple of thousand kicking around for this purpose, I had such a stomach, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
speaking as a sacral generator, I had such a stomach that said, this one, 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 this one.
I love that.
So I signed up. Yay for credit cards.
And I love how you really used your strategy and authority there to tune
Yeah.
in to what was the right next step. I love that. That's a beautiful way to do it.
Yeah.
So, thinking about attracting abundance, had you had any challenges in that way? I know everybody at some point in their life has challenges around attracting abundance. What were you finding the most challenging about that process at that time?
I have a lot of tools.
Mm-hmm.
And just like medicine, they don't work if you just leave them in the book on the shelf.
Yeah.
So for me, it was the challenge was not so much to learn the new stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but to remember to use it in conjunction with
Right.
what I already knew.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had a very slow year, and there have been a number of reasons for that, not all of which are to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a firm belief that if I'm on track with what my divine blueprint says, which is the way we talk about it in Geotran,
Mm-hmm.
then the resources will always be there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was from that perspective, it was a very good conjunction
Right.
that, I already knew certain things to do and they were working to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
And you sometimes have that feeling of getting to a fork in the road and you say, okay, this has got me this far, but now I need
Mm-hmm.
something else, something extra,
Yeah.
another layer perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Almost something to bring all those tools together as
That
well,
too.
which was part of that intention with money cartography. Because in module 1, we do go into that ancestral work as well,
Right.
looking at those deeper levels, and bringing in different things like the cross of the sleeping phoenix and gene keys and human design and spirit. So yeah, that's what I intended for the program, to bring more tools together into one place where you could bring it into this cohesive blueprint that you could
Yes.
follow as well. Yeah, because I'm a line 6, so I'm an emotional generator, a 6-2. So I'm always about the practical tools, like what tools can I give you so that you can then go away and do it yourself and you don't have to be dependent on me. That's always that kind of underlying.
That
And
is a very good thing. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's always what I like to with my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I never really anticipate having the same person. Well, let me put it a different way. If
Mm.
I wanted to hear person X's story over and over again, I'd be a therapist. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a coach, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to get them to the place, to the next level up,
Mm-hmm.
so they can then go and do what they're here to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
about what I think they should be doing.
Yeah.
And that's where both Geotran and human design are just so extraordinarily helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, with the course, you were using a mental map that I
Yes.
already understood
Yeah.
uh,
Perfect.
very profoundly in this other work that I do.
Yeah.
So it was like having a Venn diagram that
Yeah.
had a lot of overlap, but then some other new stuff over here too. So
Exactly. Exactly. So, what hesitations did you have about enrolling, if any? I'm very, you're very welcome to share any hesitations that you have, because other people will probably, find the
happen
same
to.
thing.
Well, I'm a great believer in investing in oneself. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm a coach. That's what we do,
Mhm.
you know? But at that moment in time, I was having a bit of a stretch with the paying for it, the level of the investment. It's not that I thought it was incorrect. I was having a problem with it.
Mhm.
And what made, and I think I said this to you at the time, what actually made it possible for me to even consider it in a real way was
Mhm.
that you were willing to spread it out.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so I
Right.
didn't have to,
Yeah.
if you're going to swallow a frog, then you need to swallow the biggest one first. Well, it was really helpful that the frogs got a little smaller.
That's what
You see what I mean?
I-
But once I had actually made that decision, once I could get it to the place where my sacral was
Mhm.
saying yes instead of then I was comfortable and I knew that it would
Mhm.
it would work out somehow.
Yeah. So it's that trusting yourself, really
Yeah.
trusting your intuition, and particularly us. I can see your human design chart behind you, and us with our open and undefined head centers often try and make those decisions from our head,
Yes.
particularly around money. And
Yes.
that's what I teach in money cartography. What is your design? How do you make decisions? Because those intuitive decisions will never steer you in the wrong direction. But it's
Exactly.
about trusting them and about understanding physically as well what those responses are, how to tune into those gut responses. So if you're comfortable to share, what changes have you seen in your abundance since enrolling?
Well, one of the things I notice is, well, this is not exactly the question you're asking, but I'll answer this other one first, and then I'll come back.
Okay.
One of the things that I notice is that it's really helped me refocus on using the human design tools with my clients.
Right.
So I'm giving them an extra layer, and they are happy.
Mm-hmm.
They are even happier. They are
Mm-hmm.
feeling that they're getting even better results with this combination. And synergy is one of the big gates in my chart. So we're both happy. In terms of my personal abundance, it does seem to be coming back up,
Mm-hmm.
and I, and that's partly me having a sense of where to lean in. I love the gene keys. I was
Mm-hmm.
going to say overlay. That's not the word I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Amalgamation,
Blended. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
collaboration, if you like. Um, because that actually gives me very specific things to look out for when we look at victim states, when we look at shadow states. And
Mm-hmm.
that helps me both with my own chart, my own sort of way forward, but also with my clients.
Yeah.
So I'm listening as I always do, intuitively in the field for what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can say, oh, wait a minute, hang on, let me look at this. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is connecting up here. And the advantage both for me and for the client is that we are, all of us, whether we have an open G or not, have a tendency to feel criticized
Mm-hmm.
when somebody says, well, is this what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I, this is not, how is this working for you? Whereas if we can look at it from the human design perspective, we can say, look, this just happens to be your circuitry.
Mm-hmm.
Not good, it's not bad, it just is. And here we have some extra tools and an extra awareness
Yeah.
so that you can make better choices about how you handle that circuitry.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really, really valued in the course was everything you said about open and undefined centers,
Mm-hmm.
because I had understood, but I understood it then at a deeper level,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and especially having that open G.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that because that's what I always say. It's your chart, anything in your chart isn't good or bad. It just is. And human design, gene keys, talking to spirit, doing ancestral work is just one of many tools that you can use. And it's not designed to kind of box you in. It's designed to say, look, here are some areas you might be boxing yourself in with your abundance and limiting yourself. So let me help
Right.
open that up. And my intention with money cartography was for anybody at any stage to be able to pick it up and to be able to use it, because my intention wasn't to teach the whole system, the whole human design system, the whole gene key system.
No?
It was to, yeah, no, I have that urge, but I have another course for that. But it was to curate, to try and curate the juiciest pieces of all of those things to put into one course. So thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
What do you feel would have happened if you hadn't enrolled?
I actually have a really well-stocked cabinet of distraction and procrastination, and I'm sure I would have utilized all kinds of things to be just as stuck now as I was 3 months ago. So in an ironic sort of way, I mean, in a mental way, you would think that, oh, I had this really great course with Becca, yay, and it sent me off in a couple of different directions, like Amanda Francis, like
Mhm.
some of the other things that you suggested,
Yeah.
and also a deeper understanding of my own human design and how I can use it. And it also got me looking at, how can I put this? Things that I don't know,
Mhm.
like marketing.
Mhm.
Um, I was looking the whole time at, how are you teaching? Huh. It's not that I was necessarily going to do my teaching in exactly the same way, but I
Mhm.
love teaching And so it was giving me these pictures and these intuitive hits about, oh, wait a minute, look, how about this?
Yeah.
And so it has, taking that course has really shifted the way I look at my own practice and my own business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm saying, oh, look, here's this other way of doing it.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder what it would look like if I did at least some of that.
Yes. Yeah.
And then matching that up with the new knowledge about abundance and human design specifically.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I know that it's not part of this course, but I'm just going to mention it.
Mm-hmm.
That lovely little 3-chunk thing you did about launch strategies according to your
Oh,
human
yeah.
design.
Launched by
Yeah.
Design, the live stream.
Launch
Yeah.
by design, yeah. Well, as you know, I watched the videos that you did. I did not, in fact, sign up for the course because it did not check for me at that time. Um, but it gave me lots of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's part of what you were saying about, we naturally box ourselves into corners. We just do this as human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and just to see, oh, look, there's another way of thinking about this. There's another way of looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what restores our choice.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
restoring choice is like what my practice is all about, is restoring choice. So it's like, here's a
Absolutely.
whole area of restoring choice that I really hadn't seen before. And when you don't see it, you don't recognize it. When you don't recognize it, you don't celebrate it. When you don't celebrate it, you can't really use that new thing. So
Yeah.
it kind of started that snowball going, if that's
Yeah.
the correct analogy.
Yeah, I agree. And that's part of what happens in my courses, because I have this format channel, the 360, which I talk about in Money Cartography. So people that come into my energy have those transformations naturally, because whether it's an inspiration or it's kind of transforming or opening up your potential for the way you run your business or your abundance, because of that format channel, because it's so powerful. And that combined with that role model, I'm able to model for the people in my courses, well, this is how you can teach. You don't always have to teach this way. You can teach this way. It doesn't matter if you mess up. It doesn't matter if you have building noise in the background. It's not about that. It's about your energy coming through the screen and what you're saying. So yeah, I'm really glad you shared that. Thank you. What was if you can pinpoint one part of the program that was the most valuable for you, could you share that?
All of that looking at the Open G was tremendously helpful to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to pick up one aha moment, only one, it was when you said, if you have an open or undefined head, but you have a defined ajna, especially if you have both ajna and throat. Of course, I've got that 2343 channel.
Yes, we both have. Yeah.
We both do. Yeah. So, I mean, I was resonating to that. Then you said, you don't have to, it's not your job to come up with original ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You can take existing ideas and put them together in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
And my little synergy gate said, oh, I got that one. So I put together Geotran, I put together sacred geometry, I put together human design, I created this whole new technique, and I probably would not have done that.
Wow.
If I had not heard you say that.
Yeah? Wow. That's amazing.
So I've created a whole new body of work in the last 3 months.
Oh, that congratulations. That is amazing. And I'm glad you shared that, because that's one of the things that I found when I first found human design about my open head, because I always used to think I had to come up with something brand new that no one had seen before. And I felt like a failure because I couldn't do that. And I'm like, well, I must be rubbish at business because I can't do that. Like, I don't know. Everything I thought of has been done before. But as soon as you're given permission to stand or to step outside that box, to say, it's okay. You don't have to have original ideas. You work differently, not good, not bad, just different. So yeah, thank you. I'm really, really glad that you shared that.
It was just so helpful. It really just, it just opened up a lot for me, that, and as you say, that sense of validation,
Yeah.
that I'm not crazy. It may sound like it with the 2343, but I'm not. I just have a synergy that's going in a different direction, and
Yes.
that's okay. That's not just okay. That's my genius.
Yes. That's me. That's who I am. Yeah. I love that. So just as we're coming up to the last couple of questions here, who do you think money cartography is great for?
Um, well, obviously coaches,
Hmm.
whether they're human design coaches or not. But I
Yeah.
mean, especially good for human design coaches. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because they already have the foundation. They already have a sense of what human design is about. They don't need a lot of explanation.
Hmm.
But just coaches in general,
Hmm.
or how can I put it, the creativity VP or
Hmm.
the marketing person who is dealing with a lot of people, and there's the personal aspect of doing money cartography, so that you can really look at your own particular circuitry, and especially the wealth sequence, the prosperity sequence in Gene Keys.
Hmm.
Um, but it's more that this is going to be so advantageous for people who finally understand that not everybody responds the same way.
Hmm.
And if you can get a grip on how this person is going to respond rather than the way this person responds,
Hmm.
then you're also opening up their choices.
Hmm.
Yeah. And you're actually honoring and respecting the uniqueness of the people that you're working with.
Hmm.
And that's always going to be to their benefit, but it's also going to be to your benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could say that, even for instance, that doctors
Hmm.
benefit from this. Yeah.
Hmm.
As well as, financial people, and obviously financial people that really
Hmm.
help.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that would
anybody
be
who's
great.
working with others is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I hadn't thought about that. If you were in the financial services world where you've got all of that strategy, to have the energy piece as well would be incredible.
Wouldn't
That
that
would
be great?
be incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually I work with a financial guy doing all sorts of really interesting and high level transactions in South America.
Mm.
And it's just been really helpful just for that one client that I work with, uh,
Wonderful.
just to open up and keep the energy running a bit more smoothly, because
Mhm.
we're now understanding better where the blocks are.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Not so much in him, but the people he works with. It's like,
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done around money in the world, but we're doing
oh
it.
yeah,
That's what
oh
that's
yeah.
part of what we're here to do. Because every time that we unlock something, then it has such a big ripple effect. That's what I'm finding on my clients, my family, my friends. They all start to, once they see you behaving differently around money and they feel it, it's the ripple
Mhm.
effect really does start to work on other people without you really having to say anything,
Mhm.
which I love. I really love that. So, and just as we finish up here, so is there anything else that you want someone to know who's considering enrolling? Any other last words of advice?
You know, I thought it was very interesting the way you put the course together.
Mhm.
And I've done a little bit of research since on the particular platform that you were using.
Mhm.
Now, I tend to be a person that jumps in and wants to do whatever it is as rapidly as possible. So on the plus side, I have an intensity of approach, and on the not quite so good side, I have a very limited attention span.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it depends on how you want to look at it.
yeah.
I did my doctorate in 17 months. They were giving us 7 years. I said, "Are you kidding me? I can't keep my focus for 7 years."
Ah.
So I think it's useful to know going in
Mhm.
that the modules are available 1 week at a time.
Mhm.
Now, I think probably that's a very good thing. It gives you time to integrate whatever it is you've just learned.
Yeah.
if you're an impatient person like me, it's a little bit, occasionally a little bit frustrating. It's not like I don't have other stuff to do. But I just think it's one of those things that for someone to understand the structure
Mm,
of how the course works
mm.
might be good to know up front so
Interesting.
that they
Yeah.
can they can adapt
Yeah.
as they. I'm not saying you should change the structure
Yeah.
particularly. I'm just saying it would have been good to know.
It's been good to know going in.
And I've also really liked and found supportive, and I think other people would as well, that I know you set up a Facebook group specifically for each
Mm-hmm.
group going through the course. That was just fabulous. I loved the way you were so prompt in responding to any questions or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I think people already know that it's a safe space, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's even better for people to know that it's a responsive space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's always plenty of support.
Yes.
Um, so if
Exactly.
there's some area where you're looking at it and going, what was that?
Yeah.
At least you've got somewhere where you
Not
can
left
go
out.
and talk to the other students and of course talk directly to you.
Yeah, exactly. And I love my little Loom videos. Whenever anyone has a question, that's the easiest way for me
That
to.
is so cool.
For anyone watching, not I get everybody's advanced charts, and then if you ask a question in the Facebook group, then I will do a video over that chart, like talking over the chart to answer it. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
Well,
really bad.
thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing so openly. It really will help anybody that's making that intuitive decision whether to enroll the next time we open. So just as we finish up, where can people find you if they want to know more about what you've shared?
Oh, that would be so delightful. Once we finish the course, and once I completed that new work,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately set up a website. And the website is phoenixactivations.com. That's
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix Activations, all this one word, .com. And there's just a ton of material, a lot of which came out of this particular course.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm available on Facebook, but just with my name, Kyre Adept. And I also have a Facebook group that's called Phoenix Activations. And
Wonderful.
I invite you to come and look that up and see whether there's stuff on there that might interest you.
Mm-hmm.
But just dive in. That's my advice. At least that works for me.
Exactly. Well, it was wonderful to have you in the course. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and your experience today. I really appreciate it.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me, and lovely to see you in person.
Yes, you too. We'll speak soon.
Take care.
Bye.